Welcome to Popcorn Chat Special Edition. I'm Kurt Jarvis. What I'm going to be doing in this is going down my top 10 list of worst movies of 2011. Let's just jump right into it. At number 10, I have Green Lantern. This is one of America's most precious and historical superheroes, and they gave it a dumb effort in a movie. It was terribly written. It was terribly acted. The direction wasn't solid. Again, it didn't know what it wanted to be. The only thing I will say positive about Green Lantern is I thought they kind of got their act together towards the end of the movie. And if they make another one, I hope that's the direction they go with the pacing and the writing and the characterization. Number 9 on the list, Courageous. I'd heard so many good things about this movie, and I went and saw it and went, okay, people still like really bad movies. This movie is terrible. I don't understand why such the big deal about it. I mean, the acting is over-dramatic. It's like they got a bunch of community theater actors together to say, be as hammy and over-dramatic as possible, and go! And they did. And the script makes no sense. The story is eh. I mean, this thing belonged on the Lifetime channel. It didn't belong in the movie theater, because that's where it belongs, is on television. Number 8, Sucker Punch. When you have a bunch of beautiful, hot girls in very, very next to nothing clothing, and you still can't make a good movie, you have a problem. Sucker Punch wasn't good. It just didn't do anything. I mean, she's going in and out of these dream sequences. You don't know what's real, you don't know what's not, and it's just not that interesting to begin with. So, I don't know. I had high hopes for that movie, and it failed me miserably. Number 7 on the list is Your Highness. I'm not a big Danny McBride fan. I'm really not. I think he's a funny guy, but he doesn't do movies well. And in Your Highness, he had an Academy Award-winning actress in Natalie Portman and an Academy Award-winning nominee in James Franco in this movie, and it still sucked. So I'm not a big fan of Danny McBride. I don't think he's made for movies, or at least not in a lead role like that. Maybe as a supporting role, maybe as a writer, he could get by, but I didn't like him in that. Number 6 on the list. This is my Kevin James moment. I have him in my movie list every single year. This one is Zookeeper. I don't find Kevin James funny. I loved King of Queens. I loved him on King of Queens. I was excited when he was going to transition himself into movies, and he has yet to make one good movie, in my opinion. The only thing I can say about him that was good is he didn't ruin Hitch. That's it. Other than that, man, his stuff is just terrible. I mean, I grew up with John Belushi, and, you know, I grew up with Chris Farley. You know, those were funny fat men. Kevin James, he's just not funny. I don't know what it is. I mean, he's charming, okay. I mean, but he keeps doing these comedies over and over and over and over and over that are terrible. And I wish he'd just stop. I think it'd do better for him. Number 5, Shark Night 3D. Do I really need to explain why this is bad? I mean, it's just awful. I was actually hoping that this movie was going to be so bad it was good. You know, but they took it way too seriously. They wanted to make almost like a Jaws ×7 movie. No, go campy if you're going to make something like that. I mean, seriously, it screams we can laugh at this as much as make fun of it, and it'd have been a good movie. But they took it way too seriously. It just didn't work. Number 4 is Atlas Shrugged Part 1. I'm going to let that soak in for a second. Atlas Shrugged Part 1, which means we're going to get another piece of crap from this company. Okay? That's what we're going to get. This was terrible. I have no idea. It's almost like they didn't even read the book, and if they did, they really didn't get the highlights of the book out of it. I think Anne Rind would be highly offended that this movie was made this poorly. It's just terrible. It's slow, and it doesn't know what it wants to do or what it wants to tell you. It just wants to preach to you about all these things and have absolutely no direction of why it's preaching to you or why you should even care about it preaching to you. Nothing made sense in this movie. It was a good... I had to watch it 3 times to get through it all because I slept through it twice. I mean, it was so boring. Number 3 on the list is Arthur. I feel the same way about Russell Brand as I do about Danny McBride. I think he's a funny guy. I think he's a funny personality. I don't think he's that good in movies. I'm just not a fan so far. I think he has potential, but Arthur's a movie that didn't need to be made again. It just didn't. That's A. And B, when you spend that much money hiring wealthy actors and hiring good scriptwriters and you should have made a better movie, and they didn't. It was terrible. That's why it's higher up on my list. I just can't get over how bad this movie was, and again, why it had to be remade. There's not one redeeming line off that movie. It's very forgettable. Don't waste your time. Number 2 on the list, Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star. Yeah, I kind of knew this was going to be bad going into it, and boy, did it not disappoint. This thing was just terrible. Nick Swardson, could somebody please comment on why people think this guy is funny? I have never found him entertaining whatsoever. I've tried to find where he's entertaining, and I can't find where he's entertaining. Whoever said to Nick Swardson, Nick, you know what, you're a really funny guy, you need to do movies, I want to kick them in the ding-ding, because they started this path of destruction for him. I mean, he's even got decent actors around him in this movie, and it's still terrible. That's how bad it is. It bombed because Nick Swardson is not funny. Stop making movies. Pick another career, something. You'll probably be like the funniest postman ever at the post office if you were to go there. Just do that and quit wasting people's time. However, as bad as that was, it still was not number 1. No, siree. No. I'm choosing Jack and Jill as my worst movie of 2011, starring Adam Sandler. Does anybody remember when Adam Sandler used to make good movies and that in turn made him money? I do. I remember it well. I was a big fan of his for the longest time. I remember Happy Gilmore. I still watch Happy Gilmore and laugh my ass off, and I know what's coming. Okay, that's how good that movie is. And he even started building a nice resume for himself, doing a couple dramatic movies like, Punch Drunk Love, Spanglish, and things like that. And for some reason, he stopped doing it. And those were good films. And now he's thrown in the towel. He's like, look, I just want to make money. Okay, that's what you're doing, but your films are crappy. Why can't you make a good movie and make money like you used to do? It's almost like you don't even try anymore. I mean, Jack and Jill? Really? Let's make a movie where I make fun of my sister. Compelling. I don't get it. I really don't get it. My daughter loved Jack and Jill. That's your audience, Adam Sandler. She's 12 years old. Pre-teens are flocking to see your movie. Unfortunately, they don't have jobs and spend a lot of money. And, your movie, I saw it for free. I don't even mind telling you. I illegally downloaded it because I was not going to pay for it. That's where you've gotten with me. I went to being in front of the line to see all your movies, too. I refuse to pay for another dime until you improve the quality of your films. And here's another thing, Adam Sandler. Why don't you take your own films seriously? You don't even care, man. And it shows. It totally shows in your movie. You're just like, I'm just going to cash his paycheck. I don't understand what you're doing. You're wasting your talent and you're wasting people's time. And you used to make good films. This is why it's number 1 on my list, because I know you have the potential. If you can't write anymore, if you can't write a good script like that anymore, then give it to other writers and hire better actors. Hey, there's an idea. I don't understand. I really don't understand what Adam Sandler's doing anymore. It's disappointing, and it's a waste. It really is. I mean, what's next? The Lunch Lady move? Oh, I better not say that. I think I gave him an idea, and I don't really want to see the Lunch Lady movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, America, if it happens. It's on me. Okay, I apologize now. Well, that's all I have for this week. Next week, if you come back, my special edition will include my top 10 favorite movies of 2011. Until then, I might see you at the movies.